The first thing to fail was the doors. Not all of them. Just enough to be wrong. At 1:47 a.m., the automatic doors on the east wing of Mercy Valley Hospital locked without warning. No alarm. No announcement. Just a soft mechanical click that echoed down a hallway already too quiet for a building that never slept. Seconds later, the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then dimmed, not off. Not fully on, like the hospital itself was holding its breath. A nurse paused mid-step, her hand still on a medication cart. Somewhere down the corridor, a monitor began to beep erratically. In the ICU, a ventilator alarm chirped, then went silent. Engineering. Someone called into a radio. Static answered back. Night shift was always strange. Fewer staff. Fewer patients moving. Sounds carried differently. But this felt deliberate. Within minutes, confusion spread. Elevators froze between floors. Security keycards stopped registering in certain zones. Patient call buttons lit up but went unanswered. Then came the messages. Phones buzzed in pockets and scrub tops all at once. Nurses, orderlies, residents. Even a few patients received them. Stay where you are. This is not a drill. No sender name. No number. Just text. Panic didn't explode. It crept. A charge nurse tried to calm the floor, moving room to room with a flashlight, reassuring patients that backup generators would kick in. But the generators never fully engaged. Power hovered in a sickly half-life, enough to keep shadows moving. Security attempted to unlock the east wing manually. They couldn't. That's when someone realized the stairwell doors were locked too. Mercy Valley Hospital served 3 counties. On a typical night, it housed hundreds of patients on life support, post-op recoveries, infants in the NICU. Systems weren't conveniences here. They were lifelines. And someone knew exactly which ones to touch. In the emergency department, a resident named Dr. Lena Ortiz noticed something else. The security cameras were still on. She could see the feeds at the nurses' station hallways, supply rooms, waiting areas. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Until one camera caught movement where no one should have been. A figure in scrubs walked through a restricted corridor near radiology. No badge visible. Head down. Unhurried. "Do we have agency staff tonight?" Lena asked. No one answered. She rewound the footage. The figure paused at a control panel, tapped something, then continued down the hall, vanishing just as calmly as they appeared. Minutes later, the pediatric wing lost power. By 2:10 a.m., the hospital was divided into islands. Some floors had partial lighting. Others were dark. Radios worked in bursts, then cut out. Overhead announcements failed entirely. A nurse named Camille Reeves, working the NICU, used her phone's flashlight to check incubators manually. Parents who'd been sleeping in chairs woke to whispers and shadows. "What's happening?" one asked. Camille didn't answer honestly. She said, "A system glitch. We're fixing it." But her hands were shaking. Because she'd just received another message. "Do not evacuate. You will make it worse." Security finally reached the hospital's IT office, only to find it empty. Key servers were still running. No signs of forced entry. No alarms triggered. Whatever was happening wasn't a smash and grab. It was quiet. Surgical. The hospital administrator reached at home, ordered police to respond immediately. But police couldn't just rush in. They didn't know what they were walking into. At 2:26 a.m., a patient in room 314 screamed. Not in pain. In terror, nurses rushed in to find him pointing at the door, gasping. "Someone was here," he said. "They told me to be quiet." There was no sign of anyone. But on the whiteboard near his bed, a message had been written in marker. "Listen." The hospital was officially in lockdown. No one was allowed to leave. No one was allowed to move between wings unless instructed. Police set up a perimeter outside, floodlights illuminating the facade like an interrogation. News vans began arriving, drawn by scanner chatter and a single leaked photo of nurses using phone lights in a dark corridor. Inside, the staff tried to hold things together. They rerouted oxygen manually. They tracked patients on paper. They whispered instructions instead of using radios. Every decision carried weight. And through it all, the messages continued. "I just want you to understand. I built this place too." That line stopped Lena cold. Because only someone with deep access, someone trained, could build a system like this. At 2:49 a.m., security finally spotted the figure again on camera. This time, they zoomed in. The scrubs were old. The hospital logo outdated. The name badge scratched beyond recognition. A former employee. Someone who knew the building's bones. As police prepared to enter, the hospital went darker still. Only emergency strips glowed along the floors. And then every phone buzzed one last time. "You took everything from me. Now you'll feel what it's like to wait." In the NICU, a monitor flatlined. Camille shouted for help. And somewhere in the building, a door unlocked. The flatline wasn't real. Not yet. Camille reached the incubator just as the screen flickered back to life. Numbers reappearing like a heartbeat returning from the dead. The baby stirred. The parents exhaled in unison. Relief came fast, but it didn't last. Because the message that followed was worse. "I can turn it back off." Police entered Mercy Valley Hospital at 3:02 a.m. Carefully. They didn't rush hallways or shout commands. They moved slow, methodical, aware that the wrong action could trigger another system failure. This wasn't a hostage situation in the traditional sense. It was leverage. Whoever was inside didn't need a weapon. They already had hundreds of lives in their hands. Investigators quickly confirmed what staff feared. The intruder wasn't improvising. Hospital schematics had been accessed weeks earlier. Login credentials reused. Old access points reactivated, ones removed from active monitoring, but never fully erased. A ghost in the system. Dr. Lena Ortiz was brought into a makeshift command center in the cafeteria, one of the few areas with stable power. There, she saw a name she recognized. Evan Mercer. A former biomedical systems engineer. Dismissed quietly 8 months earlier after budget cuts. No disciplinary record. No public outburst. Just gone. "He helped design the redundancy protocols," Lena said quietly. "If anyone knew how to keep systems half alive, it's him." Police negotiators attempted contact through the same messaging system Evan had used. They typed carefully. "We want to talk. No one has to get hurt." The response came immediately. "You're already talking. You just never listened before." As the hour stretched on, exhaustion set in. Nurses rotated flashlight batteries. Doctors made judgment calls they'd never trained for. Families clung to each other in darkened rooms, listening to footsteps pass their doors. Outside, the story exploded. Live broadcasts. Speculation. Experts debating cyber terrorism and domestic threats. Inside, it was quieter. Scarier. because the messages became personal. Staff phones received notes referencing their schedules, their shifts, their names. Camille check incubator 4. Lena radiology is still dark. He wasn't guessing. He was watching. At 3:41 a.m., Evan finally spoke. Not through text. Through the hospital's PA system. His voice came through warped but calm. I worked here for 12 years, he said. I fixed things when no one noticed. I prevented disasters that never made the news. And when they cut me loose, they erased my access but not my work. He paused. This is what happens when you pretend systems run themselves. Police urged staff to remain still. Evan continued. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I want accountability. I want you to feel what it's like when support disappears. Then he named a floor and cut the lights. It took everything not to panic. Staff manually stabilized patients. Police closed in, tracking Evan's movements via the cameras he hadn't disabled yet. He was leading them somewhere. Radiology. Then records. Then back toward the east wing. The same doors that had locked first. At 4:12 a.m., they found him. Not hiding. Waiting. He stood in a control room surrounded by monitors. Hands visible, eyes hollow. Older than his photo. Tired. I didn't break anything, he said as officers approached. I just showed you how fragile it already was. He surrendered without resistance. And just like that, the systems came back online. Lights brightened. Doors unlocked. Monitors stabilized. The hour was over. No one died that night. But Mercy Valley Hospital was never the same. Staff took leave. Parents requested transfers. The hospital shut down entire wings for audits. Evan Mercer was charged not as a violent criminal, but as something harder to categorize. Because the harm he caused was psychological. Lingering. Those who were there still talk about it. About the waiting. The darkness. The sense that help could vanish at any second. Because the most terrifying thing about that night wasn't what happened. It was how easily it could have gone further. The night shift eventually ended. The doors unlocked. The lights stayed on. But for everyone inside Mercy Valley Hospital, that hour never truly passed. If you want more true crime survival stories, stories that unfold in real time, in places meant to be safe, subscribe for more episodes of From Within the Cell. Because some crimes don't begin with violence. They begin with silence. And we tell the stories that almost never get told.